Okay, back to the basics. Test. 5 principles. Woohoo! Yes! You rock. So let's say this. God is for me. I am for me. My thoughts are for me. My prayers are for me. And my actions are for me. So, quick review. God is the one and only power and presence, all good. God is infinite possibilities and potentiality. God is the divine intelligence, and God is for us. This is a huge one for us to remember, that God is absolutely for us. I am not all that God is, but all that I am is God. And that's another one to really anchor ourselves into, because when we sing Everything I Need, it's right here. It is. That means that we have all come forth from the one source, and we are imbued with what we would call the qualities of God. And so it's all already here right within us. And then 2 weeks ago, we talked about the law of mind action, our thoughts, that thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. And that's why it's important for us to start thinking about what we're not thinking about when we're not thinking about it. That's really true. And then last week we talked about prayer. Charles Fillmore said, instead of supplication, prayer should be a jubilant thanksgiving. And of course, in Unity, we teach affirmative prayer. We do not say that our way is the only right way. We just, for us, affirmative prayer is what we believe in. And so we're praying as if. Now, this is actually the 4th principle. It's prayer and meditation. Personally, I think they should be separated simply because there's so much to talk about with each one. But certainly, following prayer would be what we're going to talk about today, which is meditation and letting go. This is where we're going to move into I let go and I let God. So it is those moments following prayer that we just breathe into it and we let it go. You know, we've created a vision, we've created this prayerful affirmation, but now we let it go. And we give it to God. We give it to the divine. We give it to this greater intelligence. You know, this is truly where we're moving into getting out of the how. So we also talked last week about this acronym for pray, praise, remain, affirm, and yield. Last week we talked about the affirm and praise in prayer, and so this week we're going to talk about remain and yield, as it is in reference to meditation. So Jesus said in John 15:7, if you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask for whatever you wish and it will be done for you. So as we're moving into this time of meditation, it's that we're choosing to remain. When Jesus said in me, he's meaning in the Christ consciousness, in that which I have shown you and the words that I have spoken to you. If you remain in these, as you move into meditation and as you move into letting go, it will be done for you. Now, it doesn't say it will be done for you exactly as you imaged it, does it? But it says it will be done for you. So part of this is choosing not only in meditation, but as we go throughout our day, to remain in our I amness. And because we always have this fork in the road where we can go back out into our daily life, and we can go back to looking at what is and what was, or we can remain in our I amness, in that place of possibility, potentiality, and we can start looking at that which we cannot see yet. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? But we can continue to affirm and to know that. Okay, so how we do that is through letting go and letting God, and one of the tools that we use to do this is meditation. Now, meditation is a big thing in Unity. I will tell you, prayer and meditation, they're tools, and they're awesome tools. Meditation is an amazing tool to pick up and use. There are people who never meditate and who have great lives. That's why I say it's a tool. But again, it's something that we so deeply believe in the power of meditation for many, many reasons. Charles Fillmore says the fundamental purpose of meditation is to establish a conscious communion with God, a oneness with God. And for a little bit, this is what we're going to be focusing on, this kind of meditation. Doug Bottorff, who was the minister years ago, my first minister here, has a book, I think it's called Meditation and Prayer, but it's about meditation. He says in it, meditation tunes us into what we might call a life signal being sent to us from the infinite. This is an important concept because it frees us from the thought that we somehow have to get God's attention before God will respond. We already have God's attention, and in fact, we are the manifestation of God's mind concentrated in the place where we are at this very moment. All we have to do is learn to become sensitive to the broadcast, to tune in, and to tune into that impulse that has been with us all along. You know, it's just remembering and allowing ourselves. I think that's the beautiful thing about meditation when we go into the silence, that we're literally opening ourselves up to tuning back in to our greatest partner that there is. And we forget to do that, don't we? We forget. We are so good about doing life on our own, and we're going to take care of it, and we forget that we have this amazing partner that's always there, but never pushes us to say, hey, but is always there whenever we're ready to stop for a bit and to remember and to tune into that. And as the meditation said, be still and know that I am God. Now, why meditate? I don't remember where I got these from, but I thought they were pretty great. If egg is broken by outside force, life ends. If broken by inside force, life begins. Great things always begin from inside. At the center of your being, you do have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. But we're kind of looking all around, outside and around us for the answer. But the answer is always, 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 it's right here within us. Now, it may show up ultimately through somebody or something, but here's where we go first to seek the answer. Take a trip out of your mind and into your soul. People a lot of times say in Unity we're out of our minds anyway, and we go, yes, we are. It's a good thing. Will you listen to the chaos in your mind or the whisper of your heart? Anybody here deal with chaos in their minds? Anybody at all? So that's why this is so important for us, so that we can quiet that mind. Create some quiet time today and ask the silence to speak to you about your life. I love that, to ask the silence. So the big question becomes, how do we meditate? I want to say first, there is no one right answer. And I know for myself that I thought that the way you meditated was, you sat in the cross-legged position with your palms up, straight back, and the idea was that you're going to get to this place of no thought for like 30 minutes. And so I set myself up for failure because I couldn't get there. I'm not comfortable sitting like that. I need something against my back, so I couldn't get there. But as time went on, I started to realize, and hearing more people talk and people's ideas about how they meditate, I realized, you know what, there's no one right way. I mean, God is everywhere present. And so wherever we are, God is. And whatever way we open ourselves up that works for us, that's what matters. So you can, I love in the meditation today, the candle, the flame meditation. You can literally just get a candle, put it in front of you, and focus on that flame. And just breathe, continuing to focus on the flame. Be gentle with yourself. Thoughts come, just acknowledge them, and just continue to focus on the flame. You can meditate by following your breath, breathing in and breathing out, and then following your breath in and following your breath out. One of the ways that I like to meditate is by relaxing my body. I go through the whole thing of relaxing my entire body, and that, for me, leads me into a state of nothingness. And here's the thing about meditation is that, like everything, it takes practice. It takes practice. I know when I was up at Unity Village and doing some classes, one of our homework assignments that week was that we had to spend like 15 minutes in meditation, in the silence. And I'd not done that. And so, those first few nights, it was just like crazy. And, the monkey mind, the craziness, the sounds that want to take you away. And, and I'd sit. But inevitably, even on those first few nights, and it may have been the last 2 minutes, but it would almost be like my body hit a rhythm. But as I did it throughout the week, it started to happen sooner, and here's the thing about it, is that I'd get to that place and I'd be in this like almost no thought kind of place, and then I'd think, oh, I'm in no thought. Oh, I'm in thought. So no, it's okay. You're not doing it wrong. It's okay. Because you get there more and more. The more that you practice, the more that you're going to get there. And I do believe, I sincerely believe that silent meditation is important in our lives. And I just want to encourage you to practice that. Just spend 10 minutes of just breathing, of just relaxing your body, and just practice that. I can guarantee you that if you do it and you don't give up, you'll start having those, it's an unexplainable experience, but you'll have that unexplainable experience. Now, there's a lot of other ways that we can meditate. I'm going to tell you, how many of us have computers, smartphones? Most of us. Here's where you can go. YouTube. On YouTube, you can do guided meditations, just music meditations, how to meditate. Personally, one of my favorite meditations that I do is the Panache Desai meditation. It's a 30-minute meditation, and it's called Journey of Connection. And that meditation in particular is what reminds me, and it takes me deeper, but it is a guided meditation, but there are spaces of silence in that. We promise you we will get this up on the website, so you'll have this. Other things that you can do for meditation is there's walking meditations, bicycling meditations. There's going out in your garden and gardening, or painting. Whatever it is that kind of gets you to that open space. And I just believe that in those moments that we're not focused on life so much, but we're focused on what we're doing in the moment. I believe that those moments open so much up to us that we have no idea that they do. And so, again, know that meditation comes in many, 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 many forms. And so, ultimately, whatever works for you, that's what you should be doing. Not what works for somebody else, but what works for you. Also, yoga is a great thing to take you into meditation. And I was looking on the internet the other day, and there's actually yoga that is just an intro to meditation. So just ways, Tai Chi, great meditative thing that you can do. But the main thing is that there's something that we are doing that we're kind of stopping the craziness. And so here's what I want to share with you. I am reading a book called When the Heart Waits by Sue Monk Kidd. And here's the thing about our lives is that we get so busy. Anybody here gets so busy? Anybody? Yes. And she calls it quickaholic spirituality and shortcut religion. Okay, so here's the thing about our lives, and we have to start recognizing this because we've been entrained to be in this without even recognizing we are. So she says, we live in an age of acceleration, an era so seduced by the instantaneous life that we're in grave danger of losing our ability to wait. Life moves at a staggering pace. Computers yield up immediate answers. Pictures develop before our eyes. Satellites beam television signals from practically anywhere, allowing faraway images to appear instantly in our living rooms. Complex life issues are routinely dealt with and solved in neat 30-minute segments of television. Space travel, fax machines, instant coffee, disposable diapers, in ways large and small, we're all encapsulated in a speeding world. We're surrounded by express lanes, express mail, express credit. There's not restaurants, there's fast food restaurants. Not simply markets, but jiffy markets. Faster is better, ask most anyone. The modern person tends to live by appointment calendars. And what she says about this is that we try to design time around our calendars instead of it being the opposite way, that we allow time to design our life. She said, since we have designer clothes and designer chocolate, I guess that we suppose it's inevitable that we would want designer time too. We keep dreaming up ways to conserve time to make it hassle-free. I recently saw an exercise bike with a computer attached so that people can get fit while they work. And last week, while thumbing through a catalog, I noticed a video entitled "Discover Yourself in Less Than 30 Minutes." Quick and easy are magical words with enormous seductive power. Advertisers know that if they put it on their product, it sells, whether it's instant potatoes, instant money, or instant relief. We're told that we can walk off 10 pounds in 2 weeks, melt off 5 inches in 5 days, or just take a pill and do it overnight. We've been lured by promises of getting new glasses in an hour, an oil change in 30 minutes, and a pizza in 20. So it's no wonder that we're always trying to get things instantly. What's happened, she asked, to our ability to dwell in unknowing, to live inside a question and coexist with the tensions of uncertainty? What's happened to that? We've lost it. And how many of us have said, oh my gosh, it just seems like time is speeding up. And even though time itself, in a sense, we've created that because everything is about fast. Have you ever been in a bank or in a store and you're looking at the lines and you decide, I'm going to get in this line? And then the person, the few in front of you, all of a sudden has an issue. So you start looking again and you go and you get into the other line. And then you realize, oh my gosh, that line's going fast. You go get in that line. We've all done it. And the thing is, for most of us at that particular time, there's no reason. Most of the time, we don't need to be somewhere. What we have to start recognizing is how we have been entrained in our society to have everything fast, everything instant. And so even in our spiritual lives, we have a tendency to want instant results. Instant whatever it is. And I'm not saying that sometimes things don't come instantly, sometimes they do. But what we have the opportunity to do is to move into the next step, which is to yield. Matthew 6:8 says your Father knows what you need before you ask him. That already all these potentialities and possibilities exist in infinite mind, in the infinite realm. But sometimes because we want instant gratification, we push something to happen. How's that been working for us? When if we just wait and we trust, amazing things will unfold in our lives. There is a gestation period. There is a time when we plant the seed, and then there's that time when we nurture it. And when we can't see anything happening, amazing things are happening. And that's where we move into trust. And that's where we get out of the how, right? Job 22:28, thou shalt decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. But here's what we do. We decree it. We know it's going to be established, but I'm going to get my high beam flashlight out there, and I'm going to shine the light on my way. The light will shine in such a different way if we don't push it. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not on thine own understanding. not on thine own understanding. Acknowledge, in all the ways, acknowledge God, and he will direct thy paths. Meaning that as we move throughout our day, that we're in that awareness that God is in the midst of this, God is in the midst of us. There's a divine possibility and opportunity. I know God at this moment is working things out. We do that all day, every day, especially if we're in the midst of a challenge. So letting go and letting God should be the easy part. How many of us have found that it's easy? No hands up. So what does it mean to let go and let God? For me, it means letting go of attachment to the outcome. Letting go of how we think that it should happen, how we think that it should show up, and letting go of self-imposed ideas of limitation that we always set on ourselves. And here's the thing, that when we let go of the how, that amazing things happen. How many of us have already had the experiences in our life where we said, oh my gosh, I never would have dreamt that that could happen. Oh my gosh, I never would have imagined it could be this way. I never even thought of that. Absolutely, absolutely. Because it was the greater intelligence that we were allowing to do its amazing and amazing work. Wendy Craig Purcell says, how much room do we give God to work it out? And I think this is a question to really keep with us. How much room am I giving God to work this out? And how much am I pushing to make it work a certain way? How much room am I giving God to work it out? Recognizing, my friends, that we are co-creators with our divine partner, but we are not the controllers. We can be. How's that working for you? You know, it's a great question, because when we're controlling and we're pushing and we're manipulating, it's not something that is going to be sustainable. You know, and that's just a reality. So what can we control? We control what precedes. We control our thinking process, our prayers, our nurturing. That's what we control. I love the story of the Chinese bamboo tree. The farmer goes out and he plants the bulb, and the first year he nurtures it, he takes care of it, and it becomes this little sprout. Second year he goes out, nurtures it during the growing season, and it's this little sprout. Third year he goes out and he nurtures it, is this little sprout. Fourth year he goes out there, nurtures it, does everything, it's this little sprout. In the fifth year he goes out and he nurtures it, and in that one growing season, the bamboo tree can grow up to 80 feet in one growing season. Now, did it happen just that season? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That what was happening for all those years was that this strong root system was being created so that the tree could support its progressiveness, its incredible growth. And the farmer knows that. So the farmer continues to do what he knows to do. And it's the same with our lives, my friends. You know, we want things so quick and in our time frame. And if they don't happen, we give up. Or we say it wasn't meant to be. Or we just say this stuff doesn't work. And I'm here to say to you, you don't know what's happening beneath the surface. That amazing things are happening beneath the surface. And ours is to trust it and to know it and to keep nurturing it, to keep doing what we know that we need to do to keep keeping on. I want to share with you that about 21 years ago, about 21 years ago, and I shared this on Facebook, that I was deciding that I wanted to do something different in my job. I was not a career person, never saw myself in a career. I just wanted to do something different, so I created a treasure map. And on this treasure map, I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I just put on words of what I wanted to experience in whatever work environment I was in. And I got a phone call from Doug and Beth Bottorff, who minister and administrator, and they were leaving, and they said, we thought of you for the secretary position. Now, even though I didn't have an image, somehow it didn't fit in my image. And I immediately was just like, this doesn't sound like something I want. And I went into my self-imposed limitations because I had health insurance and I didn't want to decrease my pay, and I didn't think we could do that. Thank goodness I felt a nudge, and it was like, check it out. And on February 14th at 1 p.m., 20 years ago, I stepped into this ministry as an employee, as the secretary, not having any idea what was going to transpire in my life. And through these 20 years, there's been ups and downs. There's been things breaking apart and falling apart and pain, and there's been incredible joy and expansion. And here's the thing, I would have never imagined, never in my wildest dreams imagined that 10 years into it, I would become the spiritual leader of this ministry. Never would have imagined it. But I will say that I'm grateful I've been given a gift of allowing in my life. And so it was always just whatever the next right step is, whatever the next right step is, whatever the next right step is, and just keeping on knowing. And for me, what it was that I wanted to feel. And it's the same for every single one of us here today, that we may not be experiencing the life of our dreams at this point. We may have gotten frustrated. And, I've done the affirmations, I've done the prayer work. Here's the thing, it's time for you to let it go. And in a very real sense, to surrender it, to give it up to the divine, and to place it in this realm of infinite possibility and potentiality. And trust that even when it feels like it's falling apart for a greater reason. Even when you can't see things coming together, they're coming together underneath the surface. And you just keep on keeping on, knowing what you know, standing in that, claiming it, going back to your first principle. There is only one presence and one power in the universe in my life, and that is God. The good in God is for me. And I am for me through my thoughts, through my prayers, and through my letting go and my releasing. These principles will change your life if you use them and you trust. It will happen. It's amazing in ways that you never even could imagine. Give God the room to work it out. So we're going to close with just this. So I invite you to join me in saying, I let go and I let God. Now let's say that again. I let go and I let God. Now I'm going to invite you that if there's something going on in your life today that hasn't been feeling very good at all, and you've been struggling with this, I'm going to invite you to just feel that and then say these words and let it go together. I let go and I let God. And just keep letting go and letting go and letting go and letting God and letting God and letting God. It's the best thing that you can do.